G'day, just making a quick video on the 6R80 thermal bypass valve. I've got the valve body already, all the bolts out. You'll notice that there are quite a few bolts left on the valve body. They're the ones that are actually keeping the valve body together. You can either use a T30, Torx 30 socket on these bigger ones, or what fits better is a Torx Plus TP27. You just whiz all them off. These are actually smaller, so you can't mix them up, and there are 3 here on the Mechatronic plate. To get the sleeve out, if you're doing this in the vehicle, you need to take this little tang, that's just like a little shift fork, and the little fork slots into that slot there. So you need to press the little tang, lift that up, then you can wiggle out that connector sleeve, undo all these larger bolts, you can see them where they are, and then that whole valve body will lift off. You just carefully lift the whole thing out, like so. While you've got the valve body off, it's a good idea to replace these little sealing tubes and the bridge connector as well. These are a bit raised. Usually when they flatten out level with the case, that means that they're not going to be sealing properly. These still have a bit of pliability or flexibility in them, so they should be alright. On the bridge connector, these little seals on it, they flatten out and you lose pressure there as well. Now when you lower the valve body, if you're doing it in the car or in the vehicle, you might have a bit of a heart attack because this will drop out. And this is actually called a thermal valve or thermal cooling valve. And what that actually does, it contains the oil or causes the oil to circulate within the transmission until it gets to 70 degrees Celsius. Once it gets to 70 degrees Celsius, that valve will close up or open that port, and then the oil will circulate to your heat exchanger. In Australia, we probably don't really need these as much as you do overseas, where they have sub-zero temperatures and snow conditions. Good idea to get rid of this and put a what's called a thermal bypass valve, and that just causes the cooling to constantly be going through the cooler or the heat exchanger. It doesn't have to wait to get to 70 degrees before it opens. If you're doing towing and that sort of thing, good idea to get rid of that and put the bypass kit through it. I'll show you what the kit looks like anyway, the valve, and it's quite easy. You just drop it in there, put your valve body back on, and job's done. Good idea to get rid of the heat exchanger and put a bypass cooler on it. I've got another video that shows how I mount one of those on this particular type of transmission or Ranger under the vehicle just behind the transfer case, so you can check that out as well. There's a picture of the factory one on the left and the constant cooling valve, the bypass thermal valve on the right. There's a little bit of an explanation on it there. There are a few different versions of that valve. Any one of them would do the same sort of job anyway. Okay, I hope that's explained how you can put a thermal bypass valve in instead of the factory one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Any comments, leave them in this section below the video. And don't forget to throw me a beer if I deserve one. Thank you for watching.